The story of missile defense is often told in terms of radar arrays, interceptor missiles, and satellites orbiting thousands of miles above Earth. But an equally important dimension lies on the ground, in places far from Washington or Beijing. In this episode, we explore how China is quietly reshaping the strategic landscape of Latin America through its growing network of ground stations and dual-use infrastructure. While the U.S. pours billions into the Golden Dome missile defense system, aiming to protect itself from advanced threats like hypersonic glide vehicles, a quieter race is unfolding on the ground. China is expanding its reach by building and operating satellite ground stations across Latin America. These installations may look like scientific hubs, but their strategic value is much deeper. From Argentina to Venezuela, China now maintains at least 8 ground stations across the region. These stations are vital links in a global network that supports the People's Liberation Army's long-range precision strike capabilities. They enhance Beijing's ability to detect, track, and target U.S. assets, even from thousands of miles away. The Golden Dome system is expected to cost over $175 billion. But critics argue that no matter how advanced the defense architecture is, it cannot work effectively without situational awareness of where the threats are coming from. And that's where China's Latin American ground stations come into play. The concern isn't just about data collection. It's about shortening response time. These stations improve China's ability to guide hypersonic glide vehicles, which travel at speeds over Mach 5 and follow unpredictable flight paths. Real-time ground support is essential for such capabilities, especially for targeting the continental U.S. Take, for instance, the Neuquén ground station in Argentina. It played a key role in tracking the Change 5 lunar mission's re-entry. That same tracking ability could be repurposed to enhance the precision of hypersonic weapons. And China is applying similar capabilities across multiple locations throughout the region. Beyond tracking satellites, China's presence is expanding into infrastructure that blends civilian and military use. Ports, power grids, telecom networks, many financed or constructed under China's Belt and Road Initiative, could serve as platforms for strategic leverage or covert operations in the future. Consider the port of Chancay in Peru. While marketed as a commercial logistics hub, its deep water capacity and high-tech cranes could serve as a naval logistics point for the PLA. Similar concerns arise with other ports under Chinese control in Brazil and Ecuador. China's digital infrastructure presence is even more expansive. Huawei, for example, provides up to 70% of Latin America's 4G networks and is leading the rollout of 5G. The company also operates cloud data centers and undersea cables. That digital backbone could offer pathways for surveillance or cyber operations. In Chile, Chinese state-owned power companies now control 70% of the country's electricity transmission network. This level of control over critical infrastructure gives Beijing both economic and strategic influence, especially in places where it has ongoing space or satellite projects. And let's not forget China's planned astronomical observation base at Cerro Venerones, Chile. Though construction was suspended over security concerns, the project illustrates how scientific ventures can serve dual-use ends when tied to Chinese military-linked contractors. China's expanding presence is not limited to partnerships. In Peru, ground stations not directly built by China are still engaged in multilateral space cooperation with Beijing. Through data-sharing agreements, China continues to build influence over the region's space domain. So why does this matter? Because America's missile defense efforts largely focus on space-based sensors and interceptors, while ignoring the terrestrial network that supports enemy operations. Ground stations are critical nodes in the kill chain, and China is setting them up in America's backyard. If the United States fails to recognize Latin America as a strategic front, it risks giving China uncontested access to the infrastructure that underpins modern warfare. Countering threats like hypersonic starts not just in the skies, but also on the ground. Washington needs to re-engage with Latin America, not just as a trading partner, but as a critical player in global security. Investments in shared satellite initiatives, infrastructure resilience, and democratic digital networks can serve as the foundation for this renewed partnership. It is also crucial to monitor how Chinese infrastructure contracts are awarded and operated. Many agreements are opaque, and oversight is minimal. Transparent governance and regional cooperation are key to limiting potential misuse of dual-use facilities. In the coming years, strategic competition will increasingly rely on invisible infrastructure, data cables, power grids, sensor arrays, and yes, ground stations. If the U.S. wants to stay ahead, it must take the overlooked front of Latin America seriously. This is not about confrontation. It is about balance, presence, and awareness. Ensuring that Latin America remains open, cooperative, and sovereign in its decision-making is essential for regional stability and U.S. homeland defense. If you found this video informative and believe in supporting independent analysis on critical global issues, please consider supporting our work. Every contribution helps us continue our mission of shining a light on underreported fronts in today's geopolitical landscape.